Hey guys, what's up? This is Arceus aka Tankadin 27. Welcome back to my channel and another video all about tanking in the World of Warcraft. Specifically Paladin tanking, and even more specifically gear statistics. This video is going to be all about all those number crunching stuff. All those things. The numbers you want to look out for when you're getting gear, when you're reforging, when you're gemming, when you're enchanting. And all the caps you're going to want to hit, some caps you don't want to hit, and all that good stuff. I know it's been a while, but I'm back, so awesome. I hope you liked the intro. The dungeons and raids part, it's going to happen, so stay tuned. Alright, so cover a few quick things first. A lot of things have changed from 3.0 to 4.0, and some things are still going to change. Stamina is no longer the king of all stats. You don't want to be stacking it like a maniac. You don't need to. It's nice to have, but if you just stack it, gem it for it, reforge into it, if you just completely dedicate yourself to having more and more stamina, you're going to basically become a mana sponge. You'll have a lot of health, but you're not going to be really reducing the damage you're taking in. So if you imagine back to Wrath, it would kind of be like you taking all stamina and no defense kind of thing. So you have a lot of health, but you're not reducing the damage coming into you at all. You basically become a mana sponge, and healers will hate you for it. So don't go crazy when it comes to stamina. Other things have changed. Some caps you're not going to want to hit. So we'll talk about in a second. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to start from the bottom of the chain of abilities that you're going to want to look for. So let's start at the very, very bottom. Hit rating. Tanks pretty much don't care about hit rating anymore, and I think Blizzard's trying to change this somehow, either in 4.1 or 4.2 or some content or some other hotfix patch or something. I will be going over the 4.1 patch notes, by the way, soon. Hit rating. Basically, your taunt can't miss anymore. Your interrupt can't miss. And Crusader Strike and Hammer of Righteous basically generate holy power even if they miss. So it's kind of like, why the hell would we care about hit rating? So that's how it is right now. Don't gem into it. Don't do anything. If you get yourself capped out with other stats, and you find yourself low on threat, if you put anything into hit, your threat's obviously going to increase because you're hitting stuff more. But don't go out of it. Don't go for it purposefully unless you got other stuff filled out, which we'll talk about later. Expertise is the next thing. Actually, strength is another threat stat. It does not give you block anymore like it used to, but it will let you hit harder. So if you same thing with hit. If you're capped out with all these survival stats, which we'll be talking about soon, and you're finding yourself low on threat, go ahead and go after some strength and hit. Expertise will also be nice. Expertise. You can, if you got into the survivability caps, go ahead and go for 26 expertise. Don't go for 56. Reason is, bosses can't parry haste anymore. So if they parry you, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm looking at bosses on my character. It's 8.75% chance that they're going to parry something. That's not very high if you consider it's out of 100. Does that make sense? Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Basically, they're not going to be parrying you all the time, so you're never hitting them. It's not going to be that bad. So, once again, with those three stats I just talked about, hit rating, strength, and expertise, go ahead and go into those a little bit more if you are capped out in the survivability stats, which we'll be talking about right now in a few seconds, to get yourself some extra threat. So those are basically your threat stats. Mastery. Mastery increases your chance to block melee attacks by 32%. That's just mastery. And every other point you get of mastery increases it by additional 2.25% chance to block. So Mastery is really good for Paladin tanks. You want to go for Mastery. This is all part of the um, cap. It's called block cap. You'll hear some tanks talk about it if you've been, discussing stuff with them. I don't know. If you've been yelled at, I have no idea. Okay, so it's called block cap. Okay, so it's basically this idea that there's this number, 102.4% to be exact, and if your total avoidance, which is your dodge, your parry, your block chance, and your 5% standard avoidance chance, if you add all those numbers together and you get to or past 102.4%, you're block capped. Which basically means every single hit, physical, normal hit, quote unquote, coming towards you will either be blocked, parried, or dodged. So you're either completely avoiding it or you're blocking it so it doesn't hit you as hard as it normally would. Holy Shield has 100% uptime if you're using the proper rotation. This increases your amount blocked by 10%. It doesn't increase your block rating, it just increases how much you block by 10%, which is nice. So basically, if you take the numbers dodge, parry, block, which is your mastery, you add those three numbers together, and then go ahead and add 5%. If that number reaches 102.4%, then you're block capped. Yeah. Okay, so that's what you're aiming for to get to that point. And obviously I'm not there yet. At least I don't believe I am. My gear's still unenchanted, so I'm technically not ready for raiding. But you want to be blocked out. You're going to try it as hard as you can to be block capped when you set foot into a raid. It's probably going to be expected of you in some cases, but it's got to get block capped. I would say the easiest way is you're going to want to stack mastery. Mastery gets you block, which is, as you can see, out of these three numbers, my highest one because it's the easiest to get. Dodge and parry, you don't want to put too much into them. The only thing you want to do is you're going to want to even them out as close as you can. So you can see my dodge is 12.55 and my parry is 13.63%. You're going to want to get them close together because of something called diminishing returns. It's okay to have your parry about 1% higher than your dodge, which is pretty much how I have it right now. But closer you get, the better. Once you get those two close together, as close as you can, you'll just naturally pick up dodge and parry, by the way, from like gear. So like 346 hands from Halls of Reflection, I didn't gem for it. I gemmed for expertise and dodge. But basically increases your parry by 130%. If you could see that in the equipped section. That's just going to be on gear. You'll just naturally pick up dodge and parry. But ways to balance it out is there's also 346 hands you can get from justice points, which increases your dodge by, I think, 130. So try to even it out that way by getting... you might want to go ahead and get different gear, but you're going to want to try to even it out as much as possible, and you could do that with gear or just gemming, I guess. But yeah, basically once you get those two numbers as close as you can to avoid diminishing returns, then you're going to want to put as much gemming, enchanting, and other gear-related things into mastery, which will give you a crap ton of block. Once you get all those numbers together, and add them together, then add an additional 5. The 5% comes from being like a hero of World of Warcraft, quote-unquote. You just have 5% of avoidance because you're awesome. So you get that extra 5%. Add that to these three numbers. Once again, the number is 102.4%. That's the the block cap. Don't go crazy with this. You don't want to just continue to reforge into mastery like crazy. So once you hit that threshold of 102, go ahead and stop. If you can still reforge things, go ahead and reforge them into threat stats. If you stay at that cap, go ahead and get some threat. Stamina would probably also be nice. I'm seeing most tanks that are rating around 160k health. And most of them are block capped. They should all be block capped. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any questions about other questions, blah blah blah. If you have any other questions related about stats, just go ahead and post in the comments. I'll try to answer it as best I can. There might be some stats out there that you're confused about, and I'll hopefully be able to clear some stuff up for you. But most of it's pretty self-explanatory. Yep, once again, hope this video helped out. I hope all that confusing number crunching stuff in your gear has been sorted out through this video. Go ahead and subscribe, and email any questions to tankadin27@gmail.com or leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching.